Hi, welcome to New Bucket and War Gamers. Today we've got a small naval game set in the French Revolutionary period. This is a warm-up game to familiarise ourselves with the Blood, Bilge and Iron Balls rule set, because at the end of July we are refighting the Battle of Aboukir Bay from the French Revolutionary Wars. So to help us get that game to run smoothly, we're having a run through of the game today to practice how to move the ships, how to fire them, and hopefully how to sink them.
Alright, settle in, because Geoff and Tony decided to give us a masterclass in how to ruin a French player's afternoon. We were back at the table for a 1798 Age of Sail refight off the coast of North Africa, Admiral Watts' swing action. The setup was simple enough: 6 Royal Navy ships of the line spotting 6 French men of war. The French fleet immediately made the classic blunder of splitting up. 2 ships tacked starboard, while the other 4 carried straight on, and Geoff and Tony took one look at that split, grabbed the wind gauge, and pulled off a crescent line battle manoeuvre that would make Franklin Nelson look like an amateur. And Chris, commanding the front 2 French ships, Franklin and Heureux, took the absolute brunt of it. Geoff and Tony's gunnery dice were frankly disgusting. Within 30 minutes of game time, Franklin was pummeled into absolute driftwood. Unsuited guns everywhere, fires burning, and Chris had no choice but to strike his colours. Heureux took a brutal thrashing right behind her, realised the situation was a total hazard, and promptly turned tail to make a run for it. The British fleet then glided neatly between a sandbar and an island, dropped sail and wheeled starboard to box in the remaining 4 French ships. And what followed was sheer broadside bullying. One poor French ship got caught in a crossfire and took simultaneous raking fire for both the stem and the stern. The deck damage was so absurdly catastrophic that the captain gave up on the spot. Then things got properly weird. Guy's Généreux tangled up with HMS Spartiate, and both players committed to a massive boarding action. Guy brought Aquilon in to back him up, but HMS Agamemnon piled into the back, creating a full-ship floating mass melee blob in the middle of the table. Enter Ryan, commanding a massive 120-gun Lorient. Seeing his fleet collapsing, Ryan looked at his 4-ship death club and made the totally calm, completely sane decision to just open fire indiscriminately into the crowd. Yes, he shot his own allies to try and force the British off. It didn't work. The British jack-tar simply shrugged off the friendly fire, cleared the bloody decks, and seized both French ships anyway. And to wrap up the horror show, Geoff's 80-gun flagship, HMS Conqueror, closed in on Lorient after a few more horrific broadsides. Ryan's 120-gun monster was ablaze, mastless, and forced to surrender. 5 out of 6 French ships taken in a total sweep. And the kicker? Well, looking back from the poop deck of the lone escaping ship, Heureux, was a 28-year-old looking rather green General Bonaparte. He somehow dodged the Royal Navy meat grinder by sheer luck. I guess Egypt is still on the menu, folks.
So here we are at the end of a thrilling and exciting game. It was a resounding British victory. The British only lost 1 ship. The French had their entire fleet taken or struck. 1 ship sailed away with heavy damage. The highlight of the battle was probably a 5-ship melee in the centre there, including the French flagship Lorient. But at the end of the battle, it was a resounding victory for the Jolly Jack-Tars. Thank you to Alan Abbey for producing a wonderful set of playable rules. Blood, Bilge and Iron Balls. We've used these for a number of years at our club, and I don't think any of us could recommend them highly enough. They're a great set of rules. Do have a look at them.